Will you please stand?
I am Dr. Pernella Rowena Deems, and it is a pleasure to serve as Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Excellence and Student Engagement here at Talladega College, the Alpha Laura Vega of them all. To President Vincent, the executive leadership team, faculty, staff, students, alumni, special guests, community members, thank you for attending our 2024 Honors Convocation. Our time together today will showcase Black and Brown academic excellence across all disciplines, the commitment of donors who have provided scholarships to our students, and the persistence of their amazing talents here on campus. We look forward to hearing from our guest speaker, Dr. Carla Holloway, class of 1971, and wife of Russell Holloway, who is a member of our Board of Trustees. We are thankful for her willingness to return to her alma mater to encourage, support, and uplift our scholars. At this time, I invite senior chemistry major Karin Datcher to the podium to provide our welcome, followed by the invocation given by Assistant Vice President, Reverend Cameron R. Thomas. Ms. Datcher.
Thank you, Dr. Deems. To President Vincent, senior administration, faculty, staff, family, and friends of the college, good morning. I am Karin Datcher, a senior chemistry major here at Talladega College. I hail from Huntsville, Alabama. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 2024 Honors Convocation. During this morning's program, we will recognize our student scholars who have excelled academically by earning a cumulative grade point average of 3.0 for the spring 2023 or fall 2023 semesters. We will also recognize the newest inductees into Alpha Chi Honor Society. Since 1922, Alpha Chi has distinguished itself as one of the top honor societies in the nation, with over 500,000 alumni who rank in the top 10% of juniors, seniors, and graduate students at their respective institutions. Additionally, we will salute our scholars who are members to bring you greetings as we gather here today to recognize the excellence of Talladega students who are Dega proud, Dega strong. We welcome you to our recognition of academic excellence.
May we compose our hearts for prayer. God of grace, God of glory, grant us grateful hearts for this day. As we've come to celebrate the academic achievement and excellence of our students here at the Alpha Laura Vega of them all. We pray that your spirit would guide us, as well as that your spirit will continue to inspire our scholars as they are the essential aspirations of our institution. We pray that your spirit will guide.
Thank you, Ms. Datcher, for the warm welcome, and Reverend Thomas for leading our invocation. The Talladega College Choir is coming to render a musical selection, All Good Things Will Be Added Unto You, composed by Shelton Beckton. Please welcome our choir.
Good morning. Renita Smith is representing the college away today, and so our soloist is Crystal Hicks.
Stand next to him and put the next to the podium.
Twice he had wanted to, with a small little food, and they all gave praise to God that day. Still today we won't believe that to give is to receive, that no mercy said will never fail. See, he's sorry, above his soul, make him worse. He's heavy, if you just trust him, never doubt what he said. All good things will be added unto you. He's got everything you need. All he has is that you need. And be faithful to the very end. With that judgment, don't you want to be the one just to see his face and know him praise? Unto
Thank you, Talladega College Choir. I think you almost beat Claire Huxtable. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Damian Tyler, a senior criminal justice major, to the podium. He will introduce the speaker. Mr. Jones.
Good morning. That was good to get back. All right. I am Damian Jones, a senior criminal justice major from Helena, Alabama. Our speaker this morning is Dr. Carla F.C. Holloway. A member of the Talladega class of 1971, Dr. Holloway is a James B. Duke Emerita Professor of English at Duke University, where she joined the faculty in 1994. She is a nonfiction author, bioethicist, law school graduate, author of 10 books, including 2 mystery novels. Dr. Holloway has shattered a number of glass ceilings, including her appointment as the first African-American woman dean of faculty at Duke University. Not only did Dr. Holloway teach English, but she also held faculty appointments in the School of Law, African and African-American Studies, and the program in Women's Studies. Her classrooms and scholarship focused on African-American cultural studies, gender, biocultural studies, law, and bioethics. Dr. Holloway's books primarily analyze race, gender, literature, and especially the writings of African-American women. In addition to her storied career in higher education, Dr. Holloway has published numerous professional articles and reviews, provided guest commentary on national public radio, and delivered lectures and keynote addresses across the United States, as well as internationally, including England, France, Germany, and Turkey. Since becoming emerita, Holloway has turned her full attention to writing and painting. In 2019, Tri-Quarterly published Holloway's debut work of literary fiction. A second novel followed in 2021 and received a Publishers Weekly starred review. She is now at work on the 3rd book in the series. was a resident writer in Arrow Rock, Missouri, at the Persimmon Creek Artist and Writers Residency. In addition to her degree from Talladega College, Dr. Holloway earned a master's degree and a PhD in English and Linguistics from Michigan State University and a Master of Laws from Duke University. An interesting fact about Dr. Holloway is that her mother, father, and great-great-grandfather are also graduates of Talladega College. While Dr. Holloway is here today, she will be donating to the Savory Library Archives a set of letters that her mother and father, who later became prominent educators, wrote to each other while they were students here at Talladega. And speaking of letters, it was also here at Talladega College where she met and later married her sweetheart, Russell Holloway, Talladega College, class of 1970. Following a special musical selection, the next voice you will hear is that of our speaker, our very own Dr. Carla F.C. Holloway.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. You know why Jesus gave it to me. Yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, Jesus gave it to me, and I'm gonna let it shine. Jesus gave it to me. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, let me drop it low. This little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, 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 let it shine.
Choir, thank you. Thank you so much. President Vincent, honored platform guests, members of the faculty and staff at Talladega, students, all of you who have come today. Thank you so much for being Talladegans for this particular day. It's not many places where you can write thank you, write to the Vice President and say, would you mind if the choir is there, could they sing for me, This Little Light of Mine? They sang that song. They did not sing it, they sang. And it just so happens that my talk is called This Little Light of Mine. I'm going to let it shine. Because they sang that back in the day. In the times when they told us that Black folks were lesser, incapable, ill-spoken, illiterate, the very same times that they made laws teaching to read a crime, learning to read subject to cruel punishment, carrying a note or writing one worthy of the kind of penalty that chills our souls even today. But still, in the years after, the first thing we did was build Talladegas and Fisks and Spellmans and contradicted in word and deed the expectations of an entire system of slavery. So today, especially, I need you to understand the nonsense of enslavement so that you never spend one bit of your valuable time trying to understand, explain, rationalize, or reason why it happened, because you can't make sense of nonsense. You, selective and elite few, are here today because you have refused to be distracted. You have let your learning be your light. You have made the carefully composed lines from the Negro National Anthem, "Facing the Rising Sun," matter. We know light when we see it. You are Dega's flames. Yes, and of course, racisms have happened and will keep on happening, but our great Nobel laureate Toni Morrison told us all, and if there's one thing I say today, please remember this. Remember our laureate who said the function, the very serious function of racism is distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. Somebody says you have no language, so you spend 20 years proving you do. Somebody says your head isn't shaped properly, so you have scientists working on the fact that it is. Somebody says you have no art, so you dredge that up. Somebody says you have no kingdoms, so you dredge that up. None of this is necessary. There will always be one more thing. So instead, with your already demonstrated excellence, use your extraordinary power and privilege to imagine yourselves free. When they would have you imagine yourselves with somebody's foot on your neck and the best we can do is protest that says, "I can't breathe," or we raise our hands mimicking the posture of "don't shoot," let me be clear. Those gestures are an unmitigated failure of the imagination, certainly well-intentioned, but nonetheless slender. It relinquishes our souls instead of saves ourselves. It diminishes our spirit. It dims our lights. Now, don't get it twisted. I participated in protests back in my day, a lot of them right here at Talladega in the 1960s and 70s. I am in and of the civil rights generation. But you will never get me to raise up my hands on a performance of "don't shoot." You will never see me lying down to mimic a die-in or hear me chanting, "I can't breathe." I won't. Those were our son's last words when he was shot and killed by prison guards in 1999. So it's not theatrical or performative for me. Neither is it for too many mothers like me, parents like us. Talladega was not built for that. We have been there, done that, lived and died through that for real. Your notable accomplishment today means you can do better than imagine yourselves the victim of white supremacy when you make use of your own extraordinary excellence. The excellence you are recognized for today comes with a responsibility to call the question when noise threatens to distract. This is the time, my Dega brothers and sisters, these college days, for your imaginations to be fully charged. And you need not worry if the task is overwhelming. You are Talladegans. You are already and always supported by your ancestors' dreams, your alumni's excellence and experience, the support and expectations of your elders. You know the names from history: Ida B., W.E.B. Du Bois, Angela Davis, Fannie Lou Hamer, who was sick and tired of being sick and tired and got up and did something about it. Martin and Medgar and Bayard, President Obama, President Vincent, Juliet Derricott, Professor Rochelle Williams, who recently explained on a widely circulated news story how our history is a critical part of the American fabric, stitching together the ways we uphold that tradition. To illumine that history through your accomplishments. More than 100,000 flames are lit and carried aloft by HBCU graduates. They flame out across this country and our world. And today I have the privilege, thank you, President Vincent, to welcome you into a tradition that acknowledges you as one who will carry on the work of legacy. Now, we've already got organizations on top of organizations ready to meet the day's calling. And I'm talking about churches, many as our divine ones. And as far as the institution of church goes, remember, you get to ask reasonable questions like, is prosperity or peace your mission? Is a Palestinian Jew who overturned the moneylenders' tables and backtalked those who would condemn a sex worker who needed community, not condemnation, who healed and saved, then resurrected, and after all that, reminded us that a community of believers could be good Samaritans. Is this historical Jesus your focus rather than the preacher's purse or the first lady's ride? Every one of us knows the kinds of things that can happen when we look but forget to listen. So when you listen to Antibody, who would demean Black and brown women, making them into present-day entertainment with exaggerated bodies and speech constructed for the laugh, but can't be found when it comes to an accounting for the consequence of stereotype, call the question. Ask what consequence there is for the folk, for our people, our families, the same folks who dedicate themselves to turning Black folk into entertainment. Other people turn their backs, or worse, diminish the energies that we need to dedicate to the safety of trans and gay communities endangered because of the fault in our imaginations and the misappropriation of our attention. It's what happens when we succumb to thinking we are the creators rather than the created. When we can't be imaginative enough, smart enough, or enlightened enough to understand straight folks don't know everything about creation. Women and children in a contemporary Sudan and Gaza wait for us to remember them, to say their names alongside Emmett and Viola, George and Sandra, Brianna and Trayvon. You know the work left to imagine. So when you listen to the history left in those names, when you know the legacy of their works and worries rather than TikTok's talk, Twitter's tweets, or what's on the Insta, when we take more time to fixate on the selfie's exterior, because no matter how many of these we take, how good we look, how many filters we use, not nary a one of them takes a picture of your insides. They don't imagine your characters. That's the work of the enlightened, the ones who pass on the light. We are inundated with images of how good you looked on the day you crossed over, on game day, Sunday, at homecoming, commencement, or you just woke up looking good like this day. But what do the unenlightened tell you about your inside? That's not rhetorical. I'm gonna answer it for you. Not a God-forsaken thing. And this is not about the God you come into this chapel to worship. This is spirit, flame. It attends to your inside parts. If you listened rather than merely looked, it would be telling you how beautiful the soul you are growing can be. And if, while you are growing, you can be reflective and generous, you will notice your spirit expand. So if you have not said something about Palestine, you've not finished listening. If you have not registered to vote, you have not listened to what's happening out there on the streets where our brothers, our sisters, our children are fighting to get into a place like Diga rather than to prison. Now, don't get me wrong. You're absolutely right that justice may not be on the playlist of whomever pulls you over for their performance of power. Remember, those systems were constructed to reinforce, to shore up racisms. But if we listen to our uncommon sense, we can get a fix on the other side of the story. This country has facilitated keeping systems of power and inequity in place that have harmed us, distracted us, derailed us, displaced us. Look at where environments that are sustained that harm our community water and air quality, where schools are built that are perpetually endowed and others struggle to maintain. Much of this nation's work has been done in the dark, which is why my point is keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Do you know that spiritual? Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is coming nigh. Take a moment to wonder at how folks kept singing about the light in those dark days. Even while we celebrated a tender night, dark like me, one poet wrote. Still, James Weldon Johnson wrote about our facing the rising sun, knowing that the subversive fact of the dark is it brings out our light. When it is dark enough, you can see the stars. We would keep those wicks, those cloth things that you turned in oil lamps and twisted up to keep the flame going. We would keep them trimmed and burning, lit. Now, I know you know about being lit, but I'm here to tell you today that lit did not happen with the invention of a social media emoji. We were lit when Dr. King marched on Washington and was subversive in calling it a march for jobs and freedom. He was prophecy in practice. We were lit when Harriet shouldered her rifle and said, y'all get up and come on. We were lit back in 1917 when a silent march, no sound, no blaring brass or chants or freedom songs were sung. There was nothing but quiet. Everybody marching in sync to a steady and unrelenting drumbeat. Everybody dressed in white and didn't say a mumbling word. Thousands of Black folks, men and women, children and elders, marched on a hot July day up Fifth Avenue in New York City under a single banner that read, "A Negro was lynched today." Do you know this event? Y'all can Google it. Silent March, 1917. We were quietly lit. We didn't need the noise or the funk. We didn't need the preaching, expansive sanctuaries, plush pews, fine choirs, or fancified sermons, because if our sermons and our rituals and our speechifying are not about love is love, then equity and justice are just window dressing and diversity is dessert instead of the main meal. Don't let Christianity or Islam or Judaism or Buddhism separate you from our shared humanity, our ancestral dreams. It is said that Mahalia Jackson whispered to Dr. King in the midst of his speech at the 1965 march to tell him about the dream, Martin. This is why the dreams of the children of Gaza matter. If we don't recognize and name genocide when we see it over there, then how are we going to recognize the historical and institutional systems that manufacture persistent versions of its insistent horrors? Now, my brother in the academy, Professor Dr. Mark Anthony Hill, Lamont Hill, said this so well. I want to take the analogy from him. They said we were unclean, but made us clean up after them right in their own houses. That we were unfit to be parents, practiced the Mississippi appendectomy, sterilization on us. Let the Tuskegee syphilis study go on for 40 years, sterilizing Black men, letting them die and ignoring the medical needs of their families who went on to suffer from congenital syphilis. They disrupted our reproductive rights then, and they're doing it again today, but at the same time, they have us raise and care for their children. Now, this was no accident of circumstance. It was not a mistake. You can't make sense of nonsense. This was strategic. And to be frank, these are the same folks who called themselves Christians and then turned a Christ-centered love inside out and upside down until it supported their need for us to be enslaved. You've got to listen up. And we've got to do so critically. When they tell you what they plan, believe it. When somebody says they plan to be a dictator, they mean it. When you see Islamophobia or homophobia, sexism or racism, religious discrimination, listen up. Then raise up your lanterns and see what they are trying to hide. Our light will reveal the truth. The quiet in the dark is a power we can claim because we know the dark, we've been there. But, and I'm almost finished here, so stay with me, please. We are the inheritors of a star-struck folk, of people who left and risked everything to carry themselves north, went in boxes, followed winding, bristle-thickened paths of an underground railway, made our way through the drear of midnight swamps in order to follow a northern light, that star made famous in science and story. Wiseman saw one, it was a comet, shine over Bethlehem. Early astronomers named that star one of the brightest in all of our constellations. Why do you think that Latin phrase, Alpha Lyra Vega, which means nearly the brightest star in the northern constellation of Lyra, amongst the most luminous in our sun's constellation, was chosen by the lyricists of our college's anthem? No wonder it stood out to ancient kings and sage astronomers. No wonder this college, already with one of the most unique origin stories, as President Vincent has noted and reminds us, of all the HBCUs, has that particular star in its alma mater. Now, scientists tell us that round about the year 14,000 AD, it will become the pole star, which means the very brightest in the galaxy. You have a role in that. Even though not one of us here will be witness to it, that foretold forthcoming brilliance is assured as a matter of science. So as a matter of sense and fortune, your work, your spirits are connected to that star's fate. Your destiny is brilliance, the brightest among a constellation. You will not be alone. Striking arcs of light pierce their way out of the density of the spirals of the Milky Way, somewhere beyond the horizon. But then you find the Orion arm of these spirals, the one that contains our solar system. And we count from that star, our sun, to the fifth planet that circumnavigates it. You circle its atmosphere and notice the verdant colors of the continents, the cerulean whorls of sea and sky. You settle your gaze somewhere north of the equator, then circle round till you come on down to the Americas, then to the United States, down to Alabama and a forested area once populated by Creek Indians. You find a border they named Talladega, a settlement where formerly enslaved folks built the first buildings of our beloved college, then to the community that has insisted upon its vitality, its brilliance, its vigor since 1867, and you stop and look around and notice you are not alone. Ancestral shadows bless you and give you time for thanks. And you might even sense the indigenous spirits who cared for the waters and named the land, and you will be moved again to give thanks. You will see classmates and alum and administrators and staff, those who keep the campus knowledgeable and beautiful and maintain its lush lands, and we all give thanks. Let me ask you, you should have a blue pouch, and to take that out now and open it up. You have one in your laps or in your seats. Open it up, and Nestled inside of it will be a small pen. I'm going to give one to President Vincent. I'm going to ask you to wear that pen when you can. Keep it in a safe and precious space. It's a pen with a flame on it. And every once in a while, take it out. Remember who you are. It's just a little light, but its symbol shines. It's just a little light, but its legacy lingers. It's just a little light, but it has a pole star in its future. Students, keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Choose something like a star. Be honorable and kind. Be curious. Have integrity. Do not harbor fear, but cultivate courage. Let your light shine, and then after you have tended to your lamp, that little flame pin, you pass it on. Pass it on to the children, to the generations to come, to the promise and potential of this place, our Alpha Lyra Vega, the place that has recognized you today and charged your excellence with the rarest of flames, the kind that shines through the dark, bewildered years, through the challenges of these days, through troubling times you've already navigated and you will be called to navigate again. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. You will need them just as Talladega will need and claim you. And then please accept my thanks for the gifts that you have given and will give, for the spirits whose company you join, for the congregations that you honor. Thank you for being bright and beautiful. Thank you for your presence and to each of you. Amen. Ashe.
Thank you, Dr. Holloway, for your inspiring words and remarks. What wisdom, what wisdom. Give her another hand. Let us welcome the Talladega College Choir for another musical selection, Bound for Canaan's Land, under the direction of Dr. Lloyd Mallory Jr. Thank you to the Talladega College Choir for your beautiful rendition. Our students have made academic excellence a top priority. Many of them engage in multiple activities beyond the classroom, including athletics, band, and scholarly competitions. Today, we pause to recognize their scholarship, talents, and achievements. Individual scholarship recipients are printed in the program on pages 5 through 10. These include endowed scholarships unique to Talladega College. Would those listed for academic scholarships please stand to be recognized? Thank you. We also pause to recognize students in various categories of achievements based on their grade point averages. We have students earning a 4.0 in both spring 2023 and fall 2023. The President's List earning a 3.8 to 4.0. The Dean's List earning a 3.5 to 3.79. Our Honorable Mention List earning a 3.0 to 3.49 for spring 2023 and fall 2023. They are recognized on pages 11 through 17. Would those students please stand to be recognized? We also have many honors organizations that recently held induction ceremonies during the fall of 2023 and during the spring 2024 semester. Our honors organizations include Beta 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 Biological Honor Society, Mu Pi Chapter, Alabama Lewis Stokes Alliance Minority Program, Ronald E. McNair Scholars, Alpha Pi Sigma Honor Society in Criminal Justice, Alpha Chi Honor Society, Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb Honor Society, Sigma Beta Delta International Honor Society in Business. Would those students please stand and be recognized? Let us give all honorees another round of applause. At this time, we welcome our 21st president, Dr. Gregory J. Vincent, to the podium as he brings special remarks and a presentation will follow.
Good morning. Dr. Holloway, I have been sitting through speeches, convocation addresses, commencement speeches, and been in higher education for almost 30. Your convocation honor address is the best I've ever heard. Thank you so much. To our outstanding students on the dais, we so appreciate you. You represent Talladega College so very well. Can we give our amazing student leaders a round of applause? To Dr. Deans, we so appreciate you presiding over this most wonderful address. And then to our choir. First of all, Dr. Mallory, Dr. Holloway and I were saying that we need to up our regalia game. Come on now. This has been a phenomenal program. Would you agree? Held in this historic, iconic chapel, surrounded by the world-renowned Driscoll stained glass windows. And as Dr. Holloway shared, and I will share again, here at Talladega College, that has the most compelling origin story in American higher education. It is a joy to recognize our students who make up this community of scholars. Honors Convocation is one of our most treasured traditions because it provides us, the academic community. And I just want to take yet another moment to thank our outstanding faculty. Can we give our faculty a round of applause? And through their guidance, their mentorship, their academic excellence, they nurture and develop these outstanding students that we are recognizing today. As Dr. Holloway said, you all are Deegans, and you are independent thinkers, and you demonstrate excellence in scholarship and service. Your accomplishments speak to your determination, intelligence, curiosity, and passion. Your work today and in the future reflects on Talladega College, helping us build on our reputation as a leading institution in higher education. Can we give our students a round of applause? As we move to the conclusion of our program, there are several people that I need to recognize. First, let me introduce members of the Talladega College Board of Trustees who are with us today. And I ask you to hold your applause until we're done. First, as mentioned, Russell Holloway, class of 1970. Almost all of y'all follow directions. Remain standing, sir. Dr. Virginetta Cannon, class of 1983, who is our faculty representative to the Board of Trustees. And Javon Tatum, class of 2025, the student representative to the Board of Trustees. Can we give the three of them a round of applause? And we have a number of academic, administrative, and student leaders, and let me take a moment to introduce them. Our members of our executive team, you, of course, have already heard from our presiding officer, Dr. Pernella Rowena Deems, Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Excellence, Student Engagement, Professor of Psychology, and UNCF Transformation Officer. Mr. Monday is here in spirit. He had some matters he's attending to, and then Dr. Kenyatta Schamberger, who is our Senior Vice President, Chief Operating Officer, and Staff Liaison to the Board. Can we give them a round of applause? We have a cohort of outstanding academic deans, and I want to introduce them. First, Dr. Alicia Curry, Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and Dean of the Eunice Walker Johnson Division of Social Sciences and Education. Dr. Edward Hill, Vice Provost for Lifelong Learning and Professional Development and Dean of the Graduate School. Dr. Allison Brown, Dean of the School of Natural Sciences and Mathematics and Dean of the Faculty. Dr. Adrian Mays, Associate Vice Provost for Faculty Development and Division Dean, Business Administration. Dr. Christopher Sewell, Associate Vice Provost for Education Outreach and Dean of the Dr. Jewel Plummer Cobb Honors Program. And Dr. Angela Walker, Associate Vice Provost and Division Dean, Humanities and Fine Arts. Can we give them a round of applause? All but Dr. Walker, please, you could be seated. I would ask for Professor Dr. Burns Benson and Dr. Kawani to please stand. Burns Bell, I'm sorry. All right. Who gave that amazing rendition? Thank you. By the unanimous and enthusiastic vote from the Board of Trustees, these three outstanding scholars were unanimously and enthusiastically granted tenure and promotion. Can we give them? Will our outstanding faculty and staff stand and be recognized? And I want to make sure you all see the persons who serve you every day. Could every staff member, every faculty member please stand? It gives me such an honor to recognize this next group. These are our student leaders, and they serve this institution with distinction. And I'm going to ask first our Student Government Association President, Ms. Kendrea Moore, and her cabinet. Can you all please stand? Mr. Jordan Thomas, Mr. Talladega College 2023-2024. And Ms. Eliza Kroom, Ms. Talladega College 2023-2024. You got that wave down. It always gives me joy to recognize this next person, who is there all day, every day. Please recognize the First Lady of Talladega College, Attorney Kim Wilson. Are there any elected officials in the House? Any people who want to be elected officials? I saw your hand. We so appreciate the elected officials who support us. Representative Barbara Boyd gave us, out of her discretionary money, she gave a very generous financial gift to Talladega College to support us. So I wanted to expressly thank Representative Barbara Boyd, who serves us with distinction. As Dr. Holloway mentioned, for over 156 years, Talladega College has celebrated teaching excellence, excellence in service, and excellence in providing access to post-secondary education for traditionally underserved populations. 68% of our students are Pell eligible. We have always been open, regardless of race, gender, national origin, differing abilities, faith traditions. We are the living example, we're the exemplar of proven itself to be places of promises fulfilled, a promise of a greater future, a promise of new opportunities, a promise of life-altering connections with an institution that is preparing to change the world for the better. Today, we celebrate the fruits of our energy and service as we come together to celebrate a day of scholarship. In addition to celebrating scholarship, we also pause to remember that 56 years ago today, at 6:05 Central Time, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was brutally assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. We need to take a moment just to pause to reflect on the life and legacy of Dr. King. The brothers of Alpha Beta chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity invited Dr. King Mayor Andrew Young. On this campus was the first time they met, and then, of course, worked together to accomplish what Dr. Holloway so eloquently laid out. And while his message may have ended, his mission and impact have not. Again, Dr. Holloway, thank you for your moving words. And the members of the Classy Chi chapter have a special presentation for you. Can the members of the Chi chapter please come up and make your presentation?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to stand over here. To our president, Dr. Vincent, the board of directors, leadership team, faculty, students, staff, family, and friends. My name is Rhonda Worthy, the president of the Chi chapter here at the illustrious Talladega College. And Dr. Holloway, we thank you. Thank you for your exceptional keynote speech. Your insights and expertise, I'm sure, have inspired us all. So on behalf of the Classy Chi chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, we would like to present you with this gift as a reminder, and we hope that it shows the impact that you've made on us today. And thank you once again for sharing your wisdom and your expertise with us. It was a wonderful speech. I hope it was recorded. I have my pen. I will be wearing it going forward. My pleasure. Thank you. Right there. Dang.
What's that? Oh, yeah. So Dr. Schamberger reminded me if I just follow his carefully written script, we have, Dr. Holloway, we have a gift on behalf of the college, and we have these wonderful student leaders that want to present a gift on behalf of the college.
The days when being proud to be a Talladega reach back so many years.
Yes.
To be honored by your own
Yes.
is such a special privilege. Thank you, young gentlemen.
Yeah, let's come
Go
over
on
here so we can take a
great things. Nothing like being surrounded by Talladega.
As we prepare to close our program, our tenured full professor, Dr. Pamela Burns-Bell, will lead the college's alma mater. Following the alma mater, we will receive the benediction from Reverend Cameron Thomas. And after the benediction, we ask the audience to please remain in their seats and exit as directed by the usher team to ensure we allow the platform party to exit. And now, Dr. Burns-Bell.
Shines upon this nation, a college galaxy, like that of constellation, strong in our glorious sky, with stars of magnitude, both great and small. The crown of Talladega is Alpha Laura Vega, is Alpha Laura Vega. Talladega, crimson and blue. Talladega, we will be true. With love and honor we will live in harmony. Talladega, Talladega, crimson and blue.
All right.
Receive the benediction. Lord, may you keep us. May you make your face to shine upon us and be gracious to us. May God give you the grace not to sell yourself short, grace to risk something big for something good, grace to remember that the world is now too dangerous for anything but truth and too small for anything but love. So God, take our minds and think through them. God, take our lips and speak through them. And may God, may you take our hearts and set them on fire. Amen.